Google Play Store for Android, or download on Apple Store, and then you search for Mila 98.3 FM. You get to join the conversation, right? Okay. Like I mentioned, we'll be reviewing some stories, developing story, be it political, in the political space, or business, socio-economic, sports, health, whatever it is that is going on in the dailies. We'll definitely look into that, and with the help of our in-house analysts to help unpack the stories. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm great. No problem.
Happy Friday.
The same thing to you. Thank God it's Friday.
Right. Thank God it's Friday. You're welcome on board.
You too.
All right. Because of our limited time we have on Fridays, let's quickly kickstart the conversation this morning. We'll start from the, issue of security, right? In the country, and the several updates we have in our dailies this morning. We start from the Guardian newspaper. We had the Armed Forces CDS saying that the Armed Forces resolute president's absence is sending wrong signal to troops, and then the PDP is urging improved welfare funding for security agencies, and also Abiodun also is reiterating commitment to fallen soldiers' families. All right. The whole story, I mean, this is coming as we had the solemn ceremony to honor the fallen heroes, which took on wider significance yesterday, actually. And of course, we had absence of key political figures at the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Abuja yesterday, you know, shifting attention out of the country to go to Europe and all of that. Several questions have been raised. The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, were also missing from the national wreath laying event. You know, the ceremony was held at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier in Eagle Square in Abuja yesterday, you know, to commemorate officers and men of the armed forces who had paid the supreme price in defense of the country, while also recognizing the sacrifices of 7 personnel, veterans, and their families, right? And several questions had been raised, right? Like the opposition, you know, questioning the absence of the president, asking for accountability. The ADC, you know, saying that Tinubu's absence, you know, is sending wrong signals to even the troops. That's according to a statement yesterday by its spokesman, Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC, the African Democratic Congress, you know, criticizing the absence of the president from the national observation, and several others, right? But what's your reaction to the call, especially the angle at which the ADC, the opposition, is bringing this, you know, asking for accountability, especially from this administration?
Yeah, I think the absence of Mr. President has given room for such solemn ceremony to become a source of making statements of things that are not very interesting. I have watched the wreath laying ceremony, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day ceremonies for I think for the past 40 years now, and I cannot remember. I'm not saying it has not happened, but I cannot remember when either the head of state, as the case may be, or the president was not present. He was not present. So, and in this case, we are not told that the president was sick. As at this morning, I don't think there's any report that he was sick, and whatever. So it gives room to say, okay, where is Mr. President? You know, what importance, you know, does he attach to this kind of ceremony that he has to be absent? You know, that gives room to. So it has taken shine off the ceremony. No matter the promises anybody made, the president wasn't there. They're taking shine out of the ceremony. And of course, Wike, the FCT minister, who is now the stormy petrel of this administration, was also absent. He's supposed to be the host as the FCT minister. As it always happens, since the ceremony was moved from Lagos to Abuja, all, you know, what do you call it now, all the FCT ministers have an axe to grind with the military over, was it not there, you know. It could also be because it's not, even the Minister of State for FCT, I think, also came late. You know, at a point he was not allowed to enter because he came late. Once the head of state or the vice president is already seated, nobody else comes in. But I think the protocol people were generous enough to allow her to lay the wreath. Solemn, remembrance of gentlemen in uniform who have laid down their lives, paid the supreme sacrifice for the security and protection of lives and properties in Nigeria. So they should be given the maximum respect.
Right.
And again, when the chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, and the minister of defense were promising everything, we only hope that those promises are not just on the Remembrance Day, that the widows, the widowers, the dependents of the officers who have lost their lives.
Right. Thank you for that. I mean, a lot of persons have been questioning the significance, especially when it comes to the presence of the president at some important occasions, especially when it comes to the security architecture of the country, right? We've seen reports of president what's it called now? Cutting short their trip, even maybe their planned trip, or they've
to attend important occasions. Because of the importance. But this one, that I said, we don't know. Give room. Thank God for the opposition who is now raising it. I think the ruling party have a lot to explain. Why was the president absent? That the nation seriously, appreciates the sacrifice we are making by registering his own presence there. You understand? So the vice president is there, but then the president is not incapacitated by sickness or anything as happened yesterday. It's a tradition that we have been every year. As the one ended yesterday, the next year, the plan for next year is on right now. So why should you ask 1 year before you traveled? So why did you not make allowance to attend? Or maybe he didn't put the value of the ceremony into consideration.
Well,
so that is the thing.
Well, some will argue, and we still say that since it's heavily, represented, it doesn't call for a very, intense concern, really, to say about its absence at the ceremony. But, oh well. That's what we have in dailies this morning. The Guardian is supposed to talk about the efforts so far, because in Nigeria, the issue of insurgency, especially in the northeast and banditry in the northwest, continue to persist. And after that being the backdrop, we are seeing security budget for the U.S. Africa Command. The Punch newspaper is capturing that the United States is planning to spend 587 billion naira, that's $413.046 million on counter-insurgency operations in Nigeria and other African countries in the year 2026. The worsening security conditions and situation across West Africa. And then the allocation is contained in the U.S. National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026, which was also obtained yesterday by media outfits, and the funds were approved under the TITOM, delivered a consignment of military equipment to Nigerian security agencies as part of the ongoing efforts, to strengthen security operations across the country. And the NDAA 2026 is also a comprehensive bill that, outlines the defense policy priorities and authorizes $901 billion in annual military spending with $46 million, and the same amount was also authorized, but the act did not provide a breakdown of how the funds would be spent. But there are insurgency operations in Nigeria and also other African countries. What was your reaction to this, especially the collaboration or military in Nigeria?
Thank you. If you monitor the security situation across the world, these insurgents, this terrorism, all this Al-Qaeda, and that the world is at war. The world is at war. That is saying that informally, we know who the enemies are. It's not US versus Russia, it's not Russia versus Germany, but it's the world with its citizens and an arm of its citizens. The local government, when I say local government, I'm not talking of the national government, like Nigeria government, may not be able to
overwhelm
the point down. Yes, not becoming an overwhelming thing. That was said. President Trump coming to Nigeria long from the Matisine uprising. When these people came up now, they are telling President Jonathan it is our children that are misguided. And meanwhile, they were on itself to actually find a lasting solution to the insurgency. Now it is so large that it's becoming an army. Coupled with the Sahel region where you have small arms coming from Libya and the rest of them, hoping that they are not going to give that money, part of it, to the regional government, otherwise they will swindle it. It will not be enough. So they have done enough to protect, first of all, their own interests, because anywhere you have problems, the US will always go there because of their own. So surprising about that budget, but this is hoping that they are able to.
It should go beyond the budget and using it for what it is.
Go beyond the budget.
But how did we get here, Matthew? Because it seems that the government is now incapacitated. I mean, lacks the sufficient power to now crack down on a large sum of money to a lobby firm, to paint us as, there's no Christian genocide or this genocide in the country, rather than marking or
the objective of that money that was given to a lobby firm. Is it that there are no Christian genocide in Nigeria? But you have members of the ruling class who have access to government, who are close to the ruling class, have their hands in it. That is the problem. So as I said earlier, it was people who were advising President Jonathan then that, these are our children who are missing. Along the line, a governor, I think ᴏ or these people took advantage of it. And two, the politicians have discovered that through religion, you can win elections. President Tᴏɪᴜ, he didn't quite face it clearly like that. He was going to paper it and let it go until it has taken. You want to wonder why. Where have they been? So you mean we can do this kind of thing? If we have done this from 15, 20 years ago when this thing was very small, by now we wouldn't have been there. So intake. And now before we are taking the road, it becomes very tough. That is thanks to the help of Trump with all the.
God help us, really. God help us. I mean, some analysts will say that it's not like do it and to take that step, to put into action what the security head we're talking about. So they are going to stay guarded, you are going to do this, we are going to do that. So it's a pointer to the fact that it's
really exhibit a kind of the political will. The political will is like looking at your father in the face and say, look, they are not, the sponsors that have been mentioned here, they are not the former Attorney General. Look at the arms in his house. For what? You see a soldier and the rest of them. Those arms were for what? Robbery, attack.
Right.
Look at how much people are getting for the success of that operation. How will it stop? It's not going to stop, because if you see somebody who has been making less than 50,000 naira in a year, now making 3 million in a month, you are asking to leave, you prefer to die. That is it. So the incentive now is higher than it used to be. It will take the grace in a few years. Otherwise, it will still be there for a very long time to come. Because the forces.
Still trends in the papers at Melon 98.3 FM. We are perusing the pages of our dailies this morning, The Punch, The Guardian, The Vanguard newspaper, to see what's going on with his analysis. You can join us on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98. What is getting interesting with the recent updates we are getting, as the Rivers State House of Assembly led by the Speaker, Martin Amaewhule, that some lawmakers are plotting to impeach the Speaker during proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, for over alleged misconduct move. The clerk of the assembly was, consequentially, adjourned the sitting till between last week Thursday, calling instead for an lawmakers also withdrawing from that, seeking that there was no indication that plenary will hold. According to maybe they should go into, if they had gone into filmmaking,
Nollywood they would produce better movies, in the sense that you can see from by yourself when somebody is speaking out of conviction, you will know. When somebody is speaking, they were speaking Wike's voice. So they were not convinced of it. I want that impeachment to continue. They were rerouted into signing just because of one person, because of the interest of one person who is politically who's political dissonance, doing the same thing. That means you don't understand yourself. So those kind of people, which is most of the time we have, let us do it well. No, everything they do is for themselves. So this was now beginning to discover that this process of impeaching Fubara and the rest of them is not for. By the time the rumor came out, whether it is true or not, the speaker now discovered that. So you do not have to wait for long for the hand of karma to come. As you are finishing your own, karma follows behind. So that's from history. That the interest of Nigeria or of a larger of the community is bigger than your personal interest. It's bigger than your personal interest. Politics is according to whoever, is the rule of the people, by the people and for the people. But Nigeria is not like that. It's the rule of the elite, for the elite and by the elite. And they always learn. Every other person to learn. If you have the opportunity to, and let other people follow. Otherwise, history will reject you. That is what is happening now.
Interesting by the day. And let's see the political space in Rivers State. The PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has defected from the PDP to APC and is pledging to work for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu. Right. It was announced on Thursday yesterday at the National Assembly in Abuja, and is being viewed with political circles efforts, particularly in the northeast. That's the summary of it. Because if I continue to chairman that was also saying, well, Tinubu is also like a father, as Atiku is your father, and it's just like coming home, blah blah blah, and all of that. What's your take on that?
We are talking that governance is hereditary. Side, I will be on the wrong side. No. Adults make personal choices. That's what we are looking at it from. Though one wonders, the son, who was US based, came back to join the PDP. I mean, potatoes are now saying, okay, if the father was good, why would he not stay? The man has to make his choice. It might be a ploy to spread the attitude into all parties. It might be a ploy. It might be a ploy to you don't. So
political strategy.
Yes, it could be guy defected. But again, let's look at it that in Nigeria, politics is not yet what it should be. Elitocracy now, if I may use that word. Elite everywhere. The person that is the company is an elite. Into an elite party. That is it. So what does this joining APC bring to the people of Adamawa State now? That is the kind that anything that happens like that, politicians, opposition, everybody take it and feast on it. That's what. Otherwise, for me, as I'm here now, it doesn't make any difference to me.
Right. On our political shows, we can spread that on the sheet. Quickly, on a political story here, for the second term aspiration of an Abia State governor is currently going on across the state. So they unanimously expressed unwavering support for the OT-led stability and socio-economic development indeed of the governor for 2027, saying that EDC then they will definitely not support him in their re-election bid. That's their take on that. Monthly media, that was I think it was in December, that I would not join the former Anambra State governor, that's Peter Obi. But the Peter Obi movement, in few words.
We cannot actually deny the fact that Obi, the former governor, brought some Labour Party then in 2023 actually won elections on the basis of that. But then, who defect? Let him defect on his will, saying if you don't defect, we are not going to. Let them take their support by their own assessment if it was not enabled by Labour Party. So we don't force people to defect. We don't force people to do. Don't threaten them with your support or no support. Don't threaten them that
you're talking about the ideal thing to happen.
Because it is his second term. You can't stop him midway.
We have to go. Thank you, Matthew. We have to go. We have to go. Time is fast spent. I mean, I think I really wish we had headlines we have in our dailies. Also, we have from The Guardian, Kano records against the Yahaya Bello and others. From the business page, more banks meet recapitalization threshold as tally.
Thank you very much, Lady Mo. See you later.
All right.